just jumping right in, because I want to start at the very beginning of your career.
Yes,
You kind of jump-started your career in the South Indian film industry with Tamil and Telugu films. How did
yes.
you kind of get that break into the South Indian film industry?
So, Malaika, basically, I came to Bombay and I started modeling because I knew that I wanted to be here. I wanted to do something in the, entertainment industry. I'm actually a law graduate, so it was a big jump. But when I came to Bombay, I started modeling. From modeling to acting was almost like a natural progression. Because as a model you start going for auditions for ads and stuff, and when I was going for all these auditions I started getting calls for film auditions as well. When I started auditioning for films there was all sorts of everything, small roles, big role, main lead role, Hindi film, South Indian film. Like that time it's you can't really be like, oh, I'll just do this and I won't go for this. You can't be so choosy, you just go for whatever you get a call for, whatever sounds decent to you. And I think in the process, I ended up auditioning for a really good film called Gabbar is Back. Oh God, I don't know. I didn't want to talk about it, but never mind. It's out there. So it's a film with Akshay sir. Krish sir was directing it. He's a Telugu director, and he really liked me in my audition, and he apparently shortlisted me for that Hindi film. That didn't work out, and then eventually he kind of took me in his next film, which he was directing in Telugu. So that is how it all worked out for me. It was not something that I really planned, and you know, uh, yeah. So it was just something which happened very organically for me while trying multiple different things.
So you said that you started from a law degree and then you realized that you wanted to kind of get into modeling, acting, the entertainment industry as a whole.
Yes,
What was that
yes.
kind of push towards it? Like, what was that one thing that made you decide to switch from doing a law degree and going into that career field into a more creative one?
So basically, when I was in law school, I was already modeling a little bit,
Okay.
just for fun, just to earn a little bit more pocket money. I was modeling a little bit on the side while I was in law school. And I think one thing led to another, which led to another. I was doing these small little pageants. Yeah, I was Miss Pune. Then I got a really cool Dove ad. Now, at that point of time, Dove as a brand did not have like actresses and models as uh, as their faces. So they used to have like real life people. So they took me in one of their ads and it was a really cool ad. So I mean, I feel like there were a lot of these ads and stuff that I had already started doing. And I would kind of, once I came to Bombay for some work, and I remember going from a particular place to the airport, and the entire way was like, there was a little bit, like there was a bit of a highway and there was a divider on the way. Basically, from Bandra to airport, I saw like loads and loads of posters of me doing this. It was a very cute Dove campaign. Okay. So I'm like, this is my calling. This is what I want to do. you know, then you see yourself up there in these massive hoardings. You're like, okay, if this is not a sign, then what is? Right. So a lot of I mean, a lot of things led to this moment. And then I was like, you know what? I need to give this a real shot. Let's not just do it for fun, and let's just not pretend that this is not something you have fun with. Let's actually move to Bombay and do something about it.
I love that. I love that
So
you
yeah.
saw yourself on those hoardings and you decided this is what you wanted to do because
Yeah.
it's like visual art come to life almost, and maybe you didn't realize it until that time, but that's amazing.
Yes.
That was kind of your switch that you decided that this is what you wanted to do. And so, jumping forward a little bit, you had
Yes.
a few films that did really well at the box office and they were very successful. And in terms of your performance was received also very well. And then in
Hmm.
2017, you had a few films that didn't necessarily perform the way that they were expected to perform, right?
Yes. Yes.
Can you talk a little bit about what that might have felt like for you as a performer and as an actor? Because you had four projects come out that year that didn't necessarily perform, outperform themselves at the box office. Was that demoralizing in a way? Like, did you feel like maybe I want to go back to modeling and want to do maybe something else?
It's obviously not the most encouraging if a film doesn't do well, but also, you know what, Malaika? I mean, working in this industry, you realize that not everything works
Hmm.
or doesn't work because of you.
Yeah.
There are so many factors that are important for a film's success or failure. And I feel like I never took it too personally. But again, going back to modeling was never a choice. If you have acted once, once you have kind of gone in this path, you can't go back to regular modeling because then you're used to a different kind of a hustle. The hustle is different. It's not the same drill really. So you can't go back to that. I mean, I don't know how to explain it. It's just a different path that you've chosen. Now you can't go back to the previous one. So that was not an option. Definitely, it wasn't the most fun time or the exciting time because, it was a bunch of films that weren't doing well. So you also question that, I mean, you obviously question if you made the right choices, but then I knew that it had nothing to do with me, and I just have to choose better scripts, choose better paths, choose better roles. So I think one doesn't learn so much from the success as one learns from failures. So I feel I learned a lot. I grew so much as a person and as a professional. I knew I had to work harder to do better. But yeah, it wasn't so demoralizing. I was like, just hang in here. There is no other way. You just got to be here and do everything better. So yeah.
That actually leads me perfectly into my next question because you did take a little bit of a hiatus for a few years. What was running through your mind during that time? Was it this thought that maybe I need to make, a different type of character work, or maybe I want to work in this sort of film? What was kind of running through your mind during
I'll
that?
tell you something, Malika. See, 2018 I had my last release, and then 2019, that 1 year, yes, 1 year was a bit slow, but 2020 we were in lockdown,
That's true. That's true.
2020 we were in lockdown, nobody was working.
Yeah.
By default, a lot of us took hiatus because unless you're working already on something, and that releases just before COVID, which is absolutely like crazy,
Yeah.
coincidental. Like it has to be that kind of a coincidence. Otherwise, nobody was really working in 2020. We're all sitting at home just trying to live
Yeah.
and breathe and survive. So it was actually a good time, because I actually truly felt that for me, COVID was so helpful. It was so helpful. I feel some of the films taught me a lot professionally, but COVID truly taught me a lot personally. Like it just made me so much more grateful, so much more calmer, so much more somebody who values every little thing because we just get into this mad rat race where you just want to reach somewhere without realizing that you've already gotten really far, you know and there are so many things that you can be grateful for because there's so many people uh, wanting what you already have. Your life is their dream. So I think COVID taught me so much, and very surprisingly, I was so happy during that time. I was so happy, so grateful. I had somehow started creating a lot of content during that time, and that positivity and that newness that I had during that time, I feel it just started showing. It started showing on my face, on my social media, everywhere. And I feel for me, after COVID has been like a different journey altogether. I feel like it was like unknowingly not my different version, but for me, work wise, it was a 2.0 version which started after COVID. So I feel like I'm actually very grateful for everything that's happened. It's led me to where I am today. Yeah,
Reflect.
you don't have that guilt that, oh my God, I wasn't productive today. So what? Nobody was productive.
Yeah.
It's fine. You can cook, you can clean, you can watch content, you can shoot pictures at home, whatever you can do. I think that whatever that we went through was just life changing for me, truly.
And so now after that, you kind of made your return to Hindi films with Khel Khel Me, which was my first kind of glimpse into you and your work. And then I did a
Oh,
whole deep
amazing.
dive back into your work after watching you in Khel Khel Me because I really, really liked seeing your character, right? You saw her from the get-go. You might have had some impressions about her from the very first scene that she's in, and then you really learn more about her and her
Yeah,
relationship with Aditya Seal's character.
yeah.
You've talked, a lot about, for the film during those press junkets about working on the film and working with the ensemble cast. So I'm not necessarily going to ask you about that, but I do want to know what it was like to kind of either be approached for the film. Did you audition for your part? And what was that process like for you?
Oh, wow. You've asked something very different. No, basically, I think I met the director once at a friend's place.
Okay.
So I had met him socially a couple of times before we got into this discussion about the film. And one day he just, I remember he either called me or messaged me that I'm working on a film, and I have a character in mind, a character that I've written. I think you would suit the part, and I would like to narrate the film to you. And I was like, oh my God, wow, this is so cool, But I didn't know exactly what to expect because, you obviously have to go through the drill. Like, he didn't ask me to audition or do a look test. He was just like, first, hear it out. If you're interested, then we will speak further. So it was very, very kind and gracious of him to, have offered me so nicely. He gave me a 3, 4 hour narration, I remember, with full dialogues and everything, and considering I've not really worked in Hindi before, I felt very grateful because uh, I mean, no matter how big you are in one industry, the other industry, you're still a beginner. So, yeah, he gave me a narration, and the narration was mind blowing. But at the same time, I had never heard a story or a script with like 7 people,
Yeah.
So as much as I had a lot of fun hearing it, because it has those moments, a lot of funny moments, and there's a lot of emotional moments, and I was like, I've never heard something like this in my life. So as much as I'm excited, I mean, I was very, very excited. I was also like, I don't know if I'll actually be there that much in the film eventually, because I knew that there are some really incredible actors who are already kind of a part of the film. So I took, I think, a few days or a couple of days, then I got back. I was like, you know what, let's do this. I don't think I can get a better launch. Let's work on it. And that is how it happened. I basically just got a narration, and in a couple of days I said yes. Yeah.
Keep anything from the set for your character?
No, I
Oh,
would have loved to. I would have so loved to, but no, yeah, I'm a strict professional. I don't do these things. And it's my first film. Yeah, I can't be so greedy. Oh, I love these earrings. Oh, I love this dress. I was dying to keep the shoes because we were all so excited about the shoes. We thought the shoes were truly Naina's personality. Those butterflies,
yes.
tie-ups and stuff. We were all so thrilled when we found those shoes because we were like, now this look is complete. And I feel Naina's identity kind of in the entire film is primarily that one main pink outfit and that shoe. We needed to crack that. So I think we were all in love with the shoe, and I was like, please give me the shoes. But I didn't ask seriously because, I didn't want to put pressure. But I
Yeah.
wish I can keep the shoes. Now somebody listen to me and give me those shoes.
So, kind of moving into the latter half of my questions for you, you
Yes.
kind of have had some back-to-back projects, right? With Kill Kill Me, and then you just released Daku Maharaj, which came out also on Netflix. And you
Yes.
came back across Nandamuri Balakrishna, who you've worked with previously. After a little bit of a break, what was it like kind of coming back on set with him? What was that experience like for you?
Uh, Honestly, I did think that things might be slightly different, and I didn't know what to expect on a different film set because every film set has a different vibe. Primarily, uh, I feel the environment on a set is kind of dictated by the director, how strict he is, or how chill he is, or how positive he is. And it's truly how a director keeps the environment. So I didn't know how the vibe on this set will be, but oh my God, it was so chill, it was so comfortable. Also, the fact that I worked with him once before just helped things so much because I went first day still having a little bit of like, oh my God, let me go and see what it's going to be like. But the minute I entered and I met him, he's the same person. He's the nicest, most respectful, most energetic, this full of life person who just welcomes you with like, you know, so much positivity. So yeah, it was great, great kind of working with him again. And yeah, he's just such an inspiration.
That's amazing. I always love to hear, between the bond of actors who have worked together once before, previous years before, and then kind of come
Yeah,
back together, back on set, and
yeah,
especially in a
yeah,
film like Dakumaraj, which was very well received, and your character was really loved both by audiences and critics. So, kind of
Yes.
receiving that validation, did that help solidify in your mind that, I'm back and I'm here to stay?
You know what? An actor, I mean, you do get these validations every now and then, but it's never enough. You want more and more, you know? I mean, obviously, you're very happy and grateful for the reception, and the love for the film and for your character. But at the same time, there's nothing which can be a guarantee that now you're here and you're here to stay. You've always still got to wake up every morning, hustle, and work for the next thing. Every Friday decides the fate of an actor. So you're just now, after one success or one failure, you still wake up next morning, go on set with, like, okay, now let's make this better. Or if the previous film didn't work, okay, now let's kill it in this one. So our job is an everyday job, and there is nothing that is final. Okay, now I'm here to stay. It doesn't happen.
You're now going on set with, a new kind of resolution of, okay, this one did really well. I want to continue that. What are
Correct.
your upcoming projects, and can you tease that for your audience?
So the one project that I'm working on right now is a Telugu film called Tyson Naidu. It has been announced, so I can talk about it. I'm playing a very interesting, very powerful, very different character than I have ever played before. Though I've said these adjectives earlier as well, but I truly mean it this one time, because it's just so unexpected for me to play a character like that. But I'm just excited that as an actor, I get to explore so many different roles, and actually explore so much within yourself, that okay, do you have this in you to be able to pull this off. So I feel as an actor, you're experimenting, exploring, figuring what works for you, what people will like, but also trying to creatively satisfy yourself. So yeah, I'm doing something very exciting, very different in this film. So fingers crossed, let's hope people like this, and I get some love in this as well.
Thank you so much for speaking with
Thank you, Malaika.